This isn't the only or the longest organization I have donated to, but I'm certainly surprised to receive this recognition that reminds me for how long I've been making contributions. Have you ever wondered why you choose to donate to certain causes, or why you feel compelled to give at unexpected moments? It's fascinating how often our charitable giving is influenced by cognitive biases, those mental shortcuts that shape our decisions without us even realizing. Today, I want to share how these biases affect our generosity and what we can do to become more intentional with our giving. Because by understanding these psychological forces, we can make sure our contributions truly reflect what matters to us most. Let's start with the identifiable victim effect, one of the most common biases when it comes to charity. Here's how it works. We're much more likely to donate when we can connect with a specific individual who has a story. Think about it. Have you ever seen a campaign with a picture of one child or one family in need, and suddenly you feel this overwhelming urge to donate? That's the identifiable victim effect in action. It's not that we don't care about larger groups of people or bigger causes, but our brains are wired to emotionally connect with a single face, a single story. Take a moment and think back to a time when you were moved by a charity campaign. Maybe it was a child in a developing country, or a family recovering from a disaster. In that moment, their story was powerful, and you wanted to help. But here's the thing. If someone presented you with a larger, more abstract cause, like helping thousands of children, you might feel less connected, less compelled. This bias makes us focus on that one phase, which can sometimes distort how we allocate our resources. Now, I'm not saying we should ignore those stories. In fact, personal stories often bring important issues to light. But I do want to encourage you to reflect and ask yourself, am I giving because this particular story touched my heart, or because I believe in the broader cause behind it? Both motivations are valid, but understanding the role of this bias helps us balance emotional giving with rational thinking. Another bias that plays a huge role in our charitable decisions is the bandwagon effect. This one's powerful because we, as humans, are social creatures. We tend to follow the crowd, especially when it comes to something like giving. Have you ever noticed how donations often snowball during major charitable events or viral campaigns? We see others giving, and it triggers a sense of urgency within us, like we need to join in and be part of the movement. I've experienced this myself. A few years ago, there was a big fundraising campaign that took off online. My social media feed was full of people donating, sharing, and encouraging others to give. I will be honest, I found myself reaching for my wallet without fully understanding what the cause was about. I just didn't want to feel left out. I didn't want to miss out on the opportunity to be part of something bigger. It's not always a bad thing to join a movement or support a trending cause, but the key is to pause and ask yourself, am I giving because I truly care about this cause? Or am I giving because I see everyone else doing it? By being mindful of the bandwagon effect, you can make sure your giving aligns with your personal values, not just social pressure. Let's talk about another sneaky bias that charities often use to their advantage. Reciprocity bias. You've likely experienced this. You open your mail and find a small gift from a charity. Maybe it's address labels, a bookmark, or even a little trinket. It feels like a nice gesture, right? But it is actually a clever psychological tactic. When someone gives us something, we feel this almost automatic need to give back. It's how we were wired. I used to fall for this all the time. I'd receive a little gift in the mail, and almost immediately I'd feel guilty if I didn't donate in return. They were kind enough to send me something. The least I can do is to give a little back, I would think. But here's the thing. Just because you have received a token of appreciation doesn't mean you have to donate. Once I realized this, I started making more thoughtful decisions about where my money went. I learned to set boundaries with my giving. It's not about ignoring kindness. It's about recognizing that charities may use this technique because it works. They know reciprocity biases influences to give, and by being aware of it, we can choose to give based on our beliefs rather than obligation. Next, let's dive into a bias that affects our long-term giving, the sunk cost fallacy. This is when we continue to investing in something just because we have already put time, money, or effort into it, even if we're not sure it was still worth it. When it comes to charitable giving, this bias can lead us to keep donating to the same charity year after year, even if we start to question its effectiveness. Have you ever found yourself donating to a cause simply because it's what you have always done? Maybe you have supported the same organization for years, and now it feels like you can't stop. I've already given so much, you might think. But here's the thing, just because you've given in the past, doesn't mean you're obligated to keep giving if it no longer aligns with your values or priorities. It's okay to reevaluate where your donations are going. It's okay to shift your support to a different cause that resonates with you more deeply today. The sunk cost fallacy can make it hard to change direction, but by being aware of it, you can make decisions to feel more authentic to where you are right now. Another bias that plays a major role in our giving decisions is the availability heuristic. This one is tricky because it's about the information that's most easily available to us. Let me explain. When we hear about a disaster on the news, a natural disaster, a tragedy, or something urgent, it's right there in front of us, and our brains immediately prioritize it. We feel the need to act, to give, to help. And while it's great to respond to immediate needs, this bias can sometimes make us overlook ongoing issues that don't get the same level of attention. For example, hunger, poverty, education. These are long-term issues that don't always make headlines. They're not as immediate or as visible as a disaster, but they're just as important. The availability heuristic can make us focus on what's right in front of us, rather than what may have a more lasting impact. That's why it's essential to balance responding to urgent needs with supporting causes that are doing important, ongoing work. So, how can we overcome these cognitive biases and become more thoughtful, intentional givers? First, awareness is key. Just recognizing these biases exist can help us slow down and reflect before making a decision. Next time you feel the urge to donate, take a moment to ask yourself, why am I giving? Is it because of a story that moved me? Because I saw others donating? Or because it's truly something I care about? This awareness alone can lead to more meaningful and purposeful giving. Second, research. Before donating, take the time to learn about the cause. What impact is the charity making? How do they use their funds? Are they transparent? This doesn't have to be a long process. Just a few minutes of research can go a long way in ensuring your money is being used effectively and aligns with your values. Third, consider planning your giving. Instead of making spontaneous donations every time you feel a pull, set a giving plan at the start of each year. Decide in advance where you want to allocate your donations. This way, you can give with intention and avoid falling into the trap of emotional or impulse giving. You can still leave room for spontaneous contributions, but having a plan ensures that your giving is aligned with your goals and priorities. Giving is one of the most beautiful expressions of our humanity. It reflects our values, our empathy, and our desire to make a difference in the world. By understanding how cognitive biases influence our charitable decisions, we can ensure that our giving is not only heartfelt, but also thoughtful and impactful. So, the next time you're moved to donate, take a moment to reflect on the biases that might be influencing you. Are you giving because of a single story, because of social pressure, or because of a gift you received? Or are you giving because it's truly in line with your values and the change you want to see in the world? By understanding our biases, we can give with more intention and make a greater difference. both in our own lives and in the courses we support. Here's another video that may help you. See you around at IntelliWorks.